Thanks, Zita. Hi, everybody. It's great to have you all online, and for those who are watching currently or subsequently, it's fantastic to have this opportunity to share the breadth of our LLM programs, and for me to be able to tell you about our Masters in Children's Rights and Family Law, which we're immensely proud of as a very unique opportunity in the Irish Scholarship of Law to study children's rights and family law at master's level. So I'm delighted to see Laura Croak on the call. Laura is a graduate of the programme and is a great example of how the expertise that you develop and gain in the course of our programme will allow you to excel in the area of wherever it is that you want to practice your expertise in children's rights and family law. So I suppose to begin with, just to let you know about the programme. So it was developed in response to the wide range of expertise that we as a faculty had in relation to both children's rights and family law. So you may be aware of some of my colleagues and the incredible impact that they have in this area, both in children's rights and family law. And it is upon this expertise that we have developed such a robust program, which looks at, as the name of the program suggests, both the children's rights perspective in relation to the regulation of families and state responsibilities in relation to children, which is a really interesting area. And since we began developing this program at the beginning of end of 2009, 2010, it came in. And we've seen the implementation of the children's referendum, which for the first time has given children's rights a constitutional status, which very much changes the narrative and the implementation of all laws in Ireland, because the child who kind of heretofore was silent and was presumed to have their rights vindicated by the parents in the family has now been given an independent status as a rights holder. And that has been really profound in terms of the development and interpretation of laws that already existed, and has found us creating as a nation very child-centric legislation as well as child-centric judgments, which is so powerful, and moving away from that more traditional view of the family as a unit, not to be divided. And that obviously informs all aspects of our programme. Looking then at the kind of family law, the broader family law issues, which would be one of my areas of expertise. And we're looking at what is an incredibly interesting evolution of the family in Irish society over the last 30 years. So I'm teaching family law now for 25 years, and literally every year the notes need a huge revision, because we have addressed so many societal issues with the law, using the law as a social tool to recognise, accept and acknowledge the variety of choices that people make in modern Ireland, the variety of family formations that exist, and to ensure that we get to a place where all family units, howsoever comprised, are respected and recognised and given legal status and rights vis-a-vis each other within the family unit, but also the state's obligation towards the family, and moving beyond the idea that we only protect or regulate in an elevated way family based on marriage, which is where we have come from, and that is still the position in our constitution. So it's an incredibly interesting, relevant, topical, timely debates that we have in the context of the programme. So looking at it both from the broader family perspective, and then obviously the position of the child and the vindication of the rights of the child, and where the state comes in there, that interesting question of the right of the state to regulate the family versus the right of the family to have autonomy and privacy. And so the common good and the social policy issues there really come to the fore, and it lends itself to incredible debate and discussion amongst our students who come from a wide range of perspectives and experiences. So we have great debates about the different competing rights and the challenges and obligations on the state, the issues with funding and the prioritisation of giving effect to rights. And in terms of our student cohort, traditionally any LLM programme in UCC was comprised of students who had graduated with a law degree with a 2-1 or higher. And that was the case until we moved towards this range of specialised LLMs, which allowed us more freedom in terms of eligibility criteria. And similar to the programmes that you've already heard of and yet to hear about with the Children's Rights and Family Law programme, we welcome applicants who have an undergraduate degree in a related area and our relevant professional experience. So we have every year we get students maybe from social studies and social work. We may get students with some kind of medical qualification. We get teachers who have worked with children, people who worked in the probation services and or in the prison services and or with young people in residential care, as well as solicitors and barristers who are looking to specialise in the area. And so the consequence of that is that it is such an interesting, diverse group. We also always have a number of international students who bring their own understanding and experiences of their own jurisdictions. So what happens with the seminars are very much discussion based. So, obviously we introduce the law and we have an understanding of what the Irish position is, but then moving obviously firstly to a critical perspective of the challenges that exist with the current laws from everybody's various experiences and perspectives, as well as looking at it from a comparative basis, both in terms of the material that's delivered and discussed, but also the input of our international students, which, as you can imagine, varies every year. And so even I'm learning in the class and from the contributions and the different directions that the conversations and debates and discussions will go. So it's very dynamic and very interactive and incredibly enjoyable. And, the standard of students in the room is just powerful, and their ability to share and criticize and discuss and debate, it makes the seminars just really enjoyable. And so in terms of those seminars, what the program covers is that it does work to give our students great expertise, knowledge in relation to a range of areas. So quite deliberately and quite uniquely from other programs, we have quite a prescriptive approach to the curriculum in terms of the modules that you will cover. So there's the 30 credits for the dissertation, which is shared across all the masters, 25 credits for the 15,000 word dissertation, which must be in an area related to children's rights and family law. And you are then allocated the supervisor within the school who has the most expertise in the area. And then you have your 60 taught credits and in the children's rights and family law masters, so that we can quite confidently stand over every student who graduates with the masters in this area has the range of expertise that they ought to have to carry that title of masters in children's rights and family law. 50 of the 60 credits are compulsory. And so when you take the master's program, if you take it on a full-time basis, over the course of the 2 semesters, I'm just going to read them here so I don't miss anything. You will take child law and practice, and you will take family and the law, both at 10 credits. You'll also take contemporary issues in children's rights, foundations of international children's rights law, juvenile justice, and comparative family property. So a good mix of children's rights, international perspectives, and the family and family assets and obligations inter spouses and inter parties. And then the final compulsory element of the modules is a clinic. So we have 2 incredibly unique clinics here in the law school for family law and children's rights. So we have the child law clinic, which is very well established and has a great reputation, has been involved in some very high profile cases over the years. And the child law clinic seeks to enhance the level of advocacy in children's rights cases by providing pro bono research support for practitioners who are pursuing cases in the area of children's rights and family law. And it also has a very strong research and policy and law reform angle. And so currently the clinic led by my colleague, Professor Conor O'Mahony, is doing significant work on behalf of the Department of Children, collating and researching data for them in relation to the child's experience of courts. And students get that opportunity to feed directly into research projects which can inform law reform and policy changes, as well as providing a really robust research dossiers for practitioners who require the expertise and the support. The Family Law Clinic then focuses more on inter partes disputes in relation to research support for practitioners. So where you may have a marital dispute or a partnership dispute or a domestic violence issue before the courts. And again, research dossiers are provided in relation to issues that perhaps haven't been challenged before the courts, or solicitors don't have the capacity to do the research. So most recently, we have worked on applications for protection orders in domestic violence. We've worked on cases queried the right to have the father's name on the birth certificate where the parties are not married. And other cases in relation to enforcement of maintenance internationally. So we had one case with Moldova where a maintenance order was, trying to support the enforcement of the order. So it's fascinating for students to see this insight and to play a part in the application of law in real-time cases. Other aspects of the Family Law Clinic are the Family Law Information Hub, which is an online information hub for the public to access all aspects of family law and children's rights should they have a query. So it's familylawinformation.ie, and the students maintain that every year, keep it up to date, and it's really an incredible service for the public, but it's also related to our work on access to justice and access to information. And so then we have elective modules. So you can elect 10 credits of your choosing, which can be a second clinic. So you can take both clinics if you wish, or there are other modules: mental capacity, mental health law, alternative dispute resolution, and refugee and forced displacement. So you can add those to your modules if you wish. And so the degree, the master's degree, where does it take you? Well, I mean, it certainly gives you a level of expertise that will not be achieved anywhere else in Ireland, and it's quite unique. There's only one or two similar courses in the UK. So it gives you that level that is recognised by employers. Every year, our graduates move on to the most interesting jobs that I would take myself if I wasn't here. So last year we have had a graduate who is now a policy development officer for the Ombudsman's office. And we also have students who get apprenticeships and placements in specialist family law offices and boutique offices. So they are very attractive to these offices and can bring that expertise and knowledge and right up to date knowledge of practices and laws nationally and internationally to that area. And of course, we also have a significant cohort who work with NGOs and related agencies who are working on specific areas of the law. So it could be domestic violence, it could be children's rights organizations, and they work there and help to address policy and law reform with the knowledge that they have. We also, of course, have students who go and do other things, journalism and other areas, where they use the skills and that they've developed to work in the area of journalism and publications. And finally, we would always have a student or two who would look to work with the courts, working as a judicial assistant, again, using their information and specialised knowledge to support the ruling, the informing and supportive judgments by the higher courts in Ireland. And Laura Croke is on the call with us, and Laura did the Masters a number of years ago and now has established her own legal practice. And Laura will speak to you about both her experience as a law student here with us in the Masters programme and how she has used that knowledge and skills. So what I would say to you is, if you're interested in children's rights and family law, you will not get a better opportunity to hone your knowledge and your expertise and to elevate it to master's level with some of the country's leading academics, legal scholars, and policy and law reform agents in the country. So a number of us are involved in national committees and in relation to policy reform. We have informed and contributed to the development of the Family Courts Bill that Roisin mentioned a moment ago, which has gone through both houses of the Oireachtas. And internationally, we also have huge influence in relation to both assisting law reform elsewhere, both in Europe and internationally, and bringing our learnings and the Irish position in relation to a huge range of family law and children's rights issues to internationally at conferences, and invited as keynote speakers to various conferences and fora across the world to share our expertise. And we're really proud of that, and really proud of our graduates who go on and share the knowledge and expertise and continue to work to improve for the advocating for enhanced children's rights, better enforcement of our international obligations, again in children's rights, domestic violence, individual rights, rights of unmarried parents. And we have seen over the last 20 to 30 years a real evolution in Irish family law and children's rights, and we continue to work on that with our programme here and our national and international work. So I hope you found that informative. Please do contact me as director of the programme, l.crowley@ucc.ie, if you have any questions or you would like to discuss opportunities